I see the way you hold your breath when the mail arrives, as if by not inhaling, you could make the numbers on those white envelopes disappear before they reach your hands. I am here, in the very room where you sit late at night, the blue light of your phone reflecting in eyes that have forgotten how to rest. You are looking at spreadsheets, at bank balances that shrink while the world demands more, and you feel a cold, heavy stone sitting in the center of your chest. My beloved child, I have seen every tear you let fall onto that pile of bills when you thought the walls were the only witnesses to your despair. I know the exact weight of the interest that keeps you awake at 3:00 a.m., and I know the shame that tells you your worth is tied to a credit score or a balance sheet. But listen to my voice now, cutting through the static of your panic. You are not a sum of your liabilities. You are the heir to my kingdom, and I have not forgotten the unique path I set before you under ID 4899, a journey that was never meant to be walked in chains of gold or iron. The world speaks to you in the language of not enough. It whispers that you are failing, that you are falling behind, that the hole you have found yourself in is too deep for even the sun to reach. But I am the creator of the sun, and I am the architect of the very ground beneath your feet. Do you truly believe that I, who clothe the lilies in splendor and feed the birds of the air, have overlooked the child I carved into the palms of my hands? Your debt is a shadow, but I am the light that makes shadows flee. It feels like you are drowning, the water rising past your chin, the salt of your anxiety stinging your throat. Yet, I am the one who walked upon the waves, and I am reaching down right now to pull you onto the surface of a peace that makes no sense to the logical mind. I want you to take a deep, slow breath, the first real breath you have taken in weeks. Let the air fill your lungs, and as you exhale, release the lie that you must solve this alone. You have been carrying the weight of the world on shoulders that were only designed to carry my love. The ledger of man is written in ink that fades and paper that burns, but my ledger is written in the eternal blood of my covenant with you. I do not see a debtor. I see a son, a daughter, a soul of infinite value. The numbers on your screen are temporary. My provision is eternal. You ask me, how will this change? And when will the miracle come? And I tell you that the miracle has already begun in the moment you decided to listen to my voice. There is a shift happening in the invisible realm, a realignment of resources you cannot yet see. I am opening doors in the hearts of strangers. I am softening the minds of those who hold the records of your debt, and I am planting seeds of opportunity in soil you thought was barren. But more importantly, I am healing the poverty of your spirit. The greatest trick of the enemy is to make you feel like a beggar in your own father's house. You are not a beggar. You are the guest of honor at my table. Even now, while the bills remain unpaid, I am pouring an oil of gladness over your head that will protect your mind from the corrosive acid of worry. Do you remember when you were small, and a simple scrape on the knee felt like the end of the world? You ran to those who loved you, and in their arms, the pain became small. This financial mountain you face is but a scrape on the knee to me. I am not overwhelmed by your totals. I am not surprised by the mistakes that led you here, nor am I angry at the circumstances that were beyond your control. I am simply here, loving you through the fire. The fire will not consume you. It will only burn away the attachments that kept you from trusting me fully. You have tried to fix this with your own hands, with your own cleverness, with your own endless toil, and it has left you exhausted. Now let my hands work. Be still, my child. The noise of the world is a lie. The panic in your gut is a distraction. I am whispering a secret into your heart. Provision follows peace. When you settle into the sanctuary of my presence, when you allow me to be your shepherd, you shall not want. This does not mean you will not work, or that you will not be diligent, but it means the frantic energy of the chase is over. You will walk into your future with the stride of a conqueror because you know that the one who owns the cattle on 1,000 hills is your closest friend. I am the God of the unexpected. I am the God of the widow's jar that never ran dry. I am the God of the fish with the coin in its mouth. Your situation is not too complex for my wisdom. Tonight, when you lay your head down, I want you to visualize me taking that stack of debts and placing it in a golden box. I am locking that box and I am holding the key. It is no longer yours to carry. It is mine to manage. Your job is to sleep. Your job is to wake up and look for the small graces I scatter in your path, the warmth of the sun, the kindness of a friend, the strength to do the next right thing. You are entering a season of supernatural restoration. What was stolen by interest, I will restore with favor. What was lost to fear, I will regain with courage. You are deeply loved, you are never alone, and your story does not end in a deficit. It ends in an abundance that will overflow to everyone you meet. Believe in the miracle that is happening right now, in the quiet corners of your life. As you sit there, I want you to feel the physical weight lifting from your shoulders, a sensation like the slow retreat of a heavy tide. I see you at that wooden table, the one with the slight scratch in the corner, where the sunlight hits just right in the morning. I have watched you sit there for hours, the glow of your laptop screen casting a pale, cold light across your face while you move numbers from one column to another, trying to perform a miracle of mathematics that never quite balances. I have seen the way your grip tightens on the pen until your knuckles turn white, and I have heard the silent, jagged sighs that escape your lips when the math simply refuses to yield. You have been a prisoner of the decimal point for far too long, believing that your worth is somehow tethered to the balance in your checking account. But I am here to tell you that my ledger is written in a different ink altogether. In the economy of my kingdom, you are already wealthy beyond measure, and the debt that keeps you awake at night is merely a shadow that vanishes when the true light enters the room. Look at your hands. They were not designed to be shackles to a ledger. They were crafted to create, to hold, to serve, and to be lifted in praise. Even now, as you breathe in, I am filling your lungs with a grace that you did not have to earn and cannot possibly repay. This is the first currency of my realm, peace that surpasses understanding. It is a peace that does not wait for the bills to be paid before it arrives. It is a peace that stands guard at the door of your heart while the collectors call, reminding you that your identity is not debtor, your identity is child. I am recalibrating your vision. When you look at those white envelopes on the counter, I want you to see them not as monsters, but as opportunities for my glory to be revealed. I remember when you were a child, playing in the dirt without a single thought of how the world was funded. You trusted that there would be bread on the plate and a roof overhead. I am calling you back to that radical trust. I am the architect of the impossible. Do you remember the time, years ago, when you were at the end of your rope, and a stranger offered exactly what you needed at the precise moment you needed it? You called it a coincidence, but I called it my signature. I am preparing to sign your life again with the unmistakable ink of my providence. You have felt the shame of this burden like a heavy cloak, hiding your face from friends, declining invitations, because you couldn't bear the thought of spending a single cent you didn't have. But I am stripping away that cloak of shame. It does not belong to you. It was a garment woven by the enemy of your soul to keep you isolated, but I am bringing you into the open air. Feel the coolness of my spirit brushing against your brow. I am quieting the frantic noise in your mind, the mental calculator that runs even in your sleep. I am unplugging that machine. Tonight, the silence will not be empty. It will be full of my presence. I am working in the places you cannot see. I am speaking to the hearts of people you haven't met. I am aligning circumstances that seem random to you but are perfectly choreographed by my hand. There is a shift happening in the atmosphere of your home. The air is becoming lighter. The walls that seem to be closing in are expanding. You have worried that this debt would be your legacy, a dark inheritance for those who follow you. I tell you now, this is not your end. This is the middle of a story about a great rescue. You are the protagonist of a divine intervention. When people look at your life a year from now, they won't see the struggle. They will see the radiance of one who has been sustained by the unseen hand. I want you to walk through your rooms today and notice the small things you've overlooked in your anxiety. The way the shadows dance on the floor, the scent of the tea in your mug, the steady rhythm of your own heart. These are the dividends of a life sustained by me. You are entering a sacred rhythm where the work of your hands is met by the favor of my spirit. You will find that you are getting more done in less time, that resources are stretching further than they should, and that unexpected avenues of provision are opening like flowers in the desert. Do not be afraid of the red in your accounts. My color is the gold of the sunrise and the deep green of the valley. I am leading you beside quiet waters. Your soul has been parched by the drought of not enough, but I am opening the floodgates of more than enough. This isn't just about the money, it's about the liberation of your spirit. I am breaking the spirit of lack that has haunted your family for generations. I am the God who makes a way where there is no way, and right now, I am carving a path through the mountain of your obligations. Every step you take in faith, no matter how small, is a victory. When you choose to be grateful for the bread you have today instead of mourning the feast you lack, you are defeating the darkness. Stay in this moment with me. Do not run ahead to next month or next year. I am the great I am, not the great I was or the great I will be. I am here in the now, and in this now you have everything you need because you have me. Let the tension leave your jaw. Let your eyelids grow heavy with the safety of my protection. I am the night watchman of your life. While you sleep, I am working. While you rest, I am restoring. The morning will bring a new clarity, and with it, a strength you haven't felt in a decade. We are just beginning this journey toward your freedom, and the scenery is about to change in ways that will leave you breathless with wonder. As you breathe, notice how the air itself is a gift that requires no transaction. It enters your lungs, fueling your blood and brightening your spirit, and you do not have to pay a single cent for the oxygen that keeps you alive. This is the first lesson of my kingdom. The most vital things are already yours, given freely from an inexhaustible source. I see the way you have been staring at that pile of mail on the entryway table, the envelopes with the transparent windows that seem to scream of your failures. I see the tally marks you've etched into your mind, the mental spreadsheets that keep you awake until the birds begin their first tentative chirping. You have felt like a prisoner in a cell built of interest rates and past due notices, but I am the one who holds the keys to every locked door. I am not looking at your bank balance to determine your value. I am looking at the precious texture of your soul, which is more radiant than all the gold buried in the deep veins of the earth. The world has told you that you are what you owe, that your identity is tied to your productivity and your solvency. But I tell you that you are my beloved, and no ledger can ever capture the magnitude of who I created you to be. Feel the warmth spreading from your chest to your fingertips. This is not just a sensation. It is my grace physically settling into the places where cortisol once reigned supreme. I am recalibrating your nervous system. For too long, you have been in a state of fight or flight, treating every phone call from an unknown number like a predator in the tall grass. I am calling you into a season of abide and receive. Think of the lilies that do not toil or spin, yet even the greatest kings in their finest robes were not arrayed like one of these. If I can dress the fields in such splendor, do you not think I am mindful of the roof over your head and the food in your cupboard? I am moving behind the scenes, speaking to hearts you haven't met, opening ledgers that were previously closed, and softening the resolve of those who hold your debts. You do not see it yet, but the friction is being removed from the gears of your life. The heavy, stagnant energy of lack is being replaced by a gentle current of flow. Remember the day you sat in your car and cried until your throat was raw, wondering if you would ever breathe easy again. I was there, sitting in the passenger seat, holding the weight of your sorrow so it wouldn't crush you. Those tears were not wasted, they were seeds. And now, the harvest of your endurance is beginning to sprout. I want you to look at your hands. They are capable, they are strong, and they are no longer tied by the invisible cords of shame. Shame is a thief that steals your creativity and your ability to see solutions. I am casting out that shame right now. It has no place in this sanctuary we are building together. When you wake tomorrow, the sun will hit the floorboards in a way that feels like an invitation rather than a deadline. You will find that you can look at your finances not with a racing heart, but with a quiet, analytical eye, because the fear that used to blind you has been replaced by my wisdom. We are going to untangle the knots together, one thread at a time. Some knots will loosen through your diligent effort, and others will simply vanish by my hand, leaving you to marvel at the impossible made possible. Do not worry about the how or the when. Those are my responsibilities. Your responsibility is to remain in this peace, to keep your eyes locked on mine, and to refuse to let the shadows of not enough dim the light of I am. You are entering a space of divine provision, where the math of heaven overrides the math of the world. In my economy, 5 loaves and 2 fish can feed thousands. In my economy, the last shall be first, and the empty cup is the one that is most easily filled. You have been emptied so that I can fill you with something better than mere currency. I am filling you with a resilience that will make you a lighthouse for others who are drowning in the same seas you once feared. You will tell them of the night the peace came, not because the debts were gone, but because the debt payer was present. You will describe this moment, the way the air felt thick with holiness, and how the crushing weight on your ribs suddenly evaporated. This peace is your new baseline. It is not a fleeting emotion dependent on a positive balance. It is a bedrock foundation that nothing in this world can shake. Rest now, truly rest. The stars above your home are positioned by my word, and the same power that keeps them in their orbits is the power that is tending to your life. You are safe. You are seen. You are profoundly, eternally loved. Look down at your hands, the way they rest upon the cool surface of the kitchen table, perhaps tracing the grain of the wood as you stare at the stack of papers that have come to represent your failures. To you, those envelopes with the red ink and the bold warnings are a mountain you cannot climb, a weight that threatens to crush the very breath from your lungs. But I see them differently. I see them as the thin, brittle leaves of a season that is passing away. You have allowed these numbers to become your name, answering to the title of debtor in the quiet corridors of your mind. But that is not the name I have written on the palm of my hand. You are beloved, you are heir, and you are sustained. The world measures your viability by the digits in a ledger, but my economy operates on the frequency of faith and the depth of your surrender. Do you remember the widow who had only a handful of flour and a little oil? She thought she was preparing her final meal, but she was actually preparing the canvas for a miracle that would feed her for the duration of the drought. You are in your own drought, and the air feels thin, but I am the atmosphere itself. I am the oxygen you didn't have to buy, and the heartbeat you didn't have to earn. Every time you feel that cold prickle of fear when the phone rings or the mail slot clatters, I want you to exhale and remember that I am the wall between you and the abyss. This debt is not a prison. It is a classroom where you are learning the true meaning of daily bread. Most people live with the illusion that they are the authors of their own security, but you have been stripped of that illusion. This is a gift, though it feels like a wound. In this nakedness, you are finally able to feel the warmth of my presence without the insulation of material excess. I am teaching you a resilience that is not born of a full bank account, but of a full spirit. Think of the silence that fills your home tonight. It is not an empty silence. It is a pregnant one, heavy with the promise of what I am doing in the unseen. I am moving the hearts of those you owe, softening the edges of their demands, and opening windows of opportunity that no man can shut. You do not see the supply lines yet, but they are being established. Just as the ravens brought meat to the prophet in the wilderness, I am orchestrating the arrival of what you need at the precise moment you need it, not a moment sooner. For I am teaching you to walk by the light of my word rather than the light of your own understanding. When the sun rises tomorrow, do not look at the world through the lens of what you lack. Look at it through the lens of what I possess. The earth is mine, and the fullness thereof. The cattle on 1,000 hills, the gold in the deep trenches of the sea, the very breath in the lungs of those who demand payment, all of it is under my sovereignty. You are a child of the King, walking through a temporary valley of shadows. Shadows have no mass. They cannot trip you unless you fear them more than you trust the light. I want you to take that heavy stack of bills and in your mind, lay them at the foot of my throne. They are my responsibility now. Your responsibility is to remain in the peace I have given you, to act with integrity in the small things, and to watch for the ways I will provide. You will find that as you stop obsessing over the outgo, I will start expanding the income of your soul. You will find joy in a cup of water, beauty in a falling leaf, and a strange, defiant laughter bubbling up in your chest even when the final notice arrives. This laughter is the sound of victory over the spirit of mammon. It is the sound of a soul that has realized it cannot be bought, sold, or broken by the fluctuations of a marketplace. You are becoming a lighthouse. One day, you will sit across from a friend whose face is gray with the same terror you feel tonight, and you will be able to take their hand and say, I have been where you are, and I have seen the way out. It wasn't through a lottery or a lucky break. It was through the steady, unwavering hand of the one who counts the hairs on your head. Your testimony is being written in the red ink of those bills, but it will be read in the gold light of my glory. Rest your head now. Let the tension drain from your neck and shoulders. I am standing guard over your house, your family, and your future. The wolves may howl at the gate, but they cannot enter, for the doorposts are marked by my grace. You are safe. You are provided for. You are rich in all the ways that will matter 10,000 years from now. Let this peace be the pillow upon which you lay your worries, and let the morning find you ready to see the first glimmer of the miracle I have already set in motion. As the silence of the room settles around you, do not mistake the stillness for my absence. I am in the very fibers of the rug beneath your feet and the air that fills your lungs. Look at that stack of envelopes on your kitchen table, the ones with the translucent windows and the bold, demanding letters. To you, they represent a prison of mathematics, a geometric progression of failure that keeps you awake while the rest of the world dreams. To me, they are the canvas upon which I am painting a masterpiece of providence. You look at the balance and see a negative sign. I look at your heart and see the capacity for a trust that few will ever know in this life. You have been measuring your worth by the numbers on a screen, allowing the fluctuations of a bank account to dictate the rhythm of your heartbeat. But I am the God of the surplus and the God of the scant, and I am teaching you that your value is not a variable. It is a constant, anchored in the depth of my sacrifice. Think of the lilies, child. They do not have bank accounts, nor do they fret over the rising cost of the soil or the uncertainty of the rain. They simply stretch toward the light I provide, and even Solomon in all his borrowed glory was not arrayed like one of these. You have spent years building a fortress of security out of paper and coins, and now that the walls are crumbling, you feel exposed to the elements. But look up. The ceiling of your house may be leaking, but the canopy of my heavens is unshakable. I am your true roof, your true shelter. Remember the way your breath catches when you open the mailbox, that sharp, cold intake of air as if you are expecting a blow. I want you to replace that hitch in your chest with a song of expectation. I am moving people you have never met to open doors you didn't know existed. I am whispering your name into the minds of those who hold the keys to your relief. I am adjusting the gears of the world to ensure that you do not sink beneath the waves. But more than the relief of a zero balance, I am after the transformation of your spirit. I am stripping away the heavy, golden armor of worldly pride that was never meant for your frame, so that you might walk lightly in the simple garments of my grace. Consider the birds that visit your windowsill. They do not store up for the winter in barns, because they know my memory is perfect. Your name is etched into the palms of my hands. Do you think I would forget the one for whom I have prepared an eternal kingdom? The grocery store aisle feels like a battlefield of difficult choices right now, a series of no and not today. But in those moments of restraint, you are learning the secret of the manna, that what I give for today is enough for today. You are being refined in a fire that consumes only the dross of your anxiety, leaving behind a faith that is more precious than any currency minted by the hands of men. When you walk through the supermarket and feel that pang of lack, remember that I am the bread of life. I am the hidden treasure in the field. The world measures your success by your credit score, but I measure your success by your surrender. There is no debt large enough to eclipse the ledger of my love. Even now, as the moon casts long shadows across your hallway and the hum of the refrigerator is the only sound in the house, my angels are organizing the resources you require. Not all at once, perhaps, for I would not have you return to your old dependencies on the visible world, but piece by piece, like a mosaic being assembled by a master's hand. You feel the weight of the years you think you've lost, the time spent chasing shadows of prosperity. Do not grieve for those years. I am the Redeemer of time. I will restore what the locusts have eaten, and the harvest will be sweeter because you have known the cold of the winter. Every tear you shed over a late fee is a seed planted in a field of mercy. I am tilling the soil of your soul, breaking up the hard ground of self-reliance so that the fruits of the Spirit, love, joy, peace, patience, can take deep root. You are not a number in a database. You are a child in a garden. The noise of the world tells you that you are failing, that you are falling behind, that you are less than. But I tell you that you are coming into your true inheritance. You are learning the language of the kingdom, where the first are last, and the poor are rich in faith. This season of lack is a bridge, not a destination. It is the narrow path that leads to a place where you will never again mistake your bank balance for your blessing. I am teaching you to hear my voice above the roar of the collector's phones. I am teaching you to see my hand in the unexpected gift, the waived fee, the friend who calls at just the right moment. These are not coincidences. They are the fingerprints of my favor. Do not let your heart be troubled, neither let it be afraid. I have already seen the end of this chapter, and I promise you the protagonist does not perish. The protagonist prevails not by their own strength, but by the quiet, persistent power of the one who walked on water. Sleep now, not because the problems are solved, but because I am the solution. Rest your mind, for I am the wisdom you seek. The sun will rise, and with it, a new mercy tailored specifically for the challenges of the coming day. You are covered. You are seen. You are loved with an everlasting love that no creditor can garnish and no poverty can diminish. We will walk through the valley of the shadow of debt together, and you will fear no evil, for my rod and my staff, they comfort you. Your cup will run over, not with silver, but with the presence of the living God, which is the only wealth that can truly satisfy the hunger of your soul. Every time you look at your children and feel the guilt of what you cannot give them, remember that you are giving them the greatest gift of all, a parent who knows how to pray, a parent who knows where their help comes from. You are teaching them a resilience that money cannot buy. You are showing them that even when the world shakes, their home is built on the rock. This peace you feel now, this strange, quiet warmth in the center of the storm, hold on to it. It is the down payment on the miracle. It is the evidence of things not seen. I am weaving your struggles into a tapestry of victory that will one day hang in the halls of heaven, a testament to the fact that my grace is sufficient for every deficit. Do not look at the stack of envelopes on your kitchen table as a monument to your failure. Look at them as the altar where your pride is being consumed by my fire. I am stripping away the false security of the dollar to show you the indestructible foundation of my promise. I watched you yesterday, standing in the supermarket aisle, your eyes fixed on the numbers, your heart calculating the cost of bread against the cost of light. I saw the breath you held, that tiny, silent prayer for the card to be accepted. Know this, I am the one who holds the ledger of your life, and I have already marked your account, paid in full, with a currency that the world cannot devalue. When you feel the hot sting of shame because you cannot provide the luxuries others flaunt, remember that the King of Kings had no place to lay his head. Your worth is not a fluctuating market price. It is a fixed value, written in my own hand before the stars were flung into space. Let us speak of the nights when sleep eludes you, when the silence of the house feels heavy with the weight of what is owed. In those dark hours, when you are tempted to count your losses, I am inviting you to count my faithfulness instead. Think of the car that continues to run long after the mechanic said it should have failed. Think of the neighbor who brought over a bag of groceries just when the pantry grew thin, a small miracle disguised as a simple gesture. These are not accidents. They are my fingerprints on the canvas of your struggle. I am training your eyes to see the invisible, to recognize that my provision does not always come in the form of a windfall, but often in the form of enough for this very hour. This enough is a sacred space, a holy boundary that keeps you close to my side. In the desert, I gave the Israelites manna for only one day at a time, teaching them that their survival was rooted in their relationship with me, not in their ability to hoard. You are in your desert now, but the manna is falling. Open your hands and receive what I have for you today, for the anxiety of tomorrow is a thief that steals the peace I have already deposited into your spirit. Your children see more than you realize. They do not just see the things you cannot buy. They see the way you bow your head when the pressure mounts. They see the strength in your eyes when you tell them that everything will be all right, and they feel the truth of those words because my spirit is the one echoing them in your heart. You are building in them a cathedral of character, a sanctuary of faith that will weather any financial storm they may face in their own lives. You are showing them that a person's life does not consist in the abundance of their possessions, but in the richness of their connection to the eternal. When you sit with them at the table, even if the meal is humble, the love that fills the room is a banquet that many who live in mansions would trade their fortunes for. Do not despise the day of small things, for in the economy of heaven, a widow's mite is worth more than a Pharisee's chest of gold. The world tells you that you are behind, that you are losing the race, that you are drowning. But I say you are diving deep into the oceans of my grace, where the pressures of the surface cannot reach you. In the depths, there is a stillness that the surface dwellers can never understand. You are learning to breathe underwater, to find sustenance in the spirit when the physical world offers nothing but dry bones. This debt is a heavy chain, yes, but I am using it to anchor you to the only thing that cannot be moved. As the links of that chain are broken, and they will be, in my time and in my way, you will find that you have developed the spiritual muscles necessary to carry the weight of the blessings that are coming. I do not waste your tears. Every drop is a seed planted in the soil of your future. You are currently in the hidden season, the time of the root, where the growth happens beneath the surface, away from the eyes of men. Soon, the shoot will break through the earth, and you will see that the darkness was not a grave, but a womb. Do not fear the phone when it rings, for I am your advocate. Do not fear the letters when they arrive, for I am your shield. I am working behind the scenes, moving hearts you have never met, aligning circumstances you cannot see, to bring about a resolution that will leave no doubt that I am God. But while we wait for the breakthrough, I want you to feast on my presence. I want you to walk through your home and claim it as my territory, regardless of whose name is on the deed. Every room is a chapel, every corner a place of prayer. When the enemy whispers that you are a failure, tell him that you are a child of the Most High, and your inheritance is being kept in a vault that no bank can touch. Imagine the peace I am giving you as a translucent cloak. When you step out into the world, people will look at you and wonder how you can smile while the storm clouds gather. They will look for the source of your confidence, and they will find it not in your bank balance, but in the radiance of your countenance. This is the witness of the Spirit. This is how you lead others to the water of life, by showing them that you can be satisfied even when the well of the world is dry. The strange, quiet warmth you feel is the fire of my love, which burns but does not consume. It is the same fire that was with Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego in the furnace. The heat of your financial trials was meant to destroy you, but instead, it is only burning away the ropes that bound you. Look around you in the fire. Do you see me walking beside you? I have never been closer than I am in this moment of your perceived lack. I am teaching you the language of the kingdom, where loss is often the prelude to gain, and empty is the prerequisite for full. Do not be ashamed of the scars this season is leaving on your soul. Those scars are the proof of your survival, the evidence that you faced the giant and did not run. Every time you choose to be honest when it would be easier to deceive, and every time you choose to be generous with your time when you have no money to give, you are storing up treasures in heaven. You are becoming a person of substance, a person whose value is not tied to the shifting sands of the economy. Stay here with me. Do not run ahead into the what-ifs of next month. Stay in the I am of today. Here, in the present moment, there is no debt that can diminish my love for you. Here, there is only the rhythmic beat of my heart and the steady flow of my provision. We are not finished yet, my child. We are just beginning to see what I can do with a heart that is fully surrendered in the midst of the impossible. Close your eyes for a moment and listen to the silence that exists beneath the noise of your concerns. In that silence, I am building something that no bank can seize and no downturn can diminish. You have felt the sting of the world's appraisal, the way it looks at your balance sheet, and concludes that you are less than. But I look at the architecture of your soul, and I see a cathedral rising from the rubble of your expectations. Every time you chose to be kind to the cashier, while your own mind was a storm of calculations, you were laying a foundation stone of pure marble. Every time you shared a meal when you weren't sure where the next would come from, you were carving the intricate reliefs upon the walls of your spirit. You are not a failure being punished. You are a student being initiated into the deeper mysteries of trust. Think of the 3 a.m. hour, when the room is dark and the thoughts come like wolves, circling the bed with reminders of what is past due. In those hours, I am the light that does not flicker. I am the shepherd who stands between you and the teeth of your fears. I saw you look at that old photograph of yourself from 5 years ago, the one where you looked so carefree, so unburdened by the weight you carry now, and I saw the pang of grief in your chest. You felt as though that version of you is dead, buried under a mountain of paper and interest rates. But I tell you, that joy was only a seed. What is growing in you now, through the pressure and the dark soil of this trial, is something far more resilient. The joy of the sun is easy, but the joy of the deep well is unshakable. Do not envy those who sail on calm seas with full pockets. They have not yet learned the secret of the anchor. You are learning that I am the anchor. When the waves of collectors' calls and legal language crash against your hull, you are discovering that you do not sink, because I am the very wood of your boat and the very breath in your sails. There is a specific dignity in the way you are navigating this, a quiet holiness in the way you patch the holes in your life with prayer instead of despair. I remember the day you walked past the shop window and saw the things you used to buy without a second thought, and instead of anger, a strange, soft peace settled over you, a realization that you didn't actually need them to be whole. That was a victory greater than any lottery win. You are being stripped of the unnecessary so that the essential can shine. The world's economy is a flickering candle, susceptible to every wind of change, but my economy is the sun itself. I am teaching you to trade in the currency of the Spirit, in patience that outlasts the deadline, in hope that defies the evidence, and in a love that remains when the gold is gone. I am in the details of your struggle. I am in the way you stretch the last of the bread, the way you find beauty in a walk through the park because it is free, and the way you have started to notice the suffering of others even while you are in the midst of your own. This is the alchemy of the kingdom, turning the lead of debt into the gold of empathy. You are becoming a healer who knows the wounds of the poor, a leader who knows the weight of the heavy laden. I am not rushing you through this valley. There are treasures hidden in the darkness, jewels that can only be found by touch, not by sight. I am guiding your hands to find them. One day, you will look back on these months, these years, and you will not see a hole in your life. You will see a bridge. You will see how every no you had to say to your desires was a yes to your destiny. You will see how the tightness of the grip of debt was actually the pressure required to turn the carbon of your character into a diamond. Stay here with me in the now. The what-ifs are phantoms, they have no life in them. Only I have life. When you feel the panic rising, breathe in my name. Let it be the cooling water for the fever of your mind. I am the God who provided manna in the wilderness, not a month's supply at once, but enough for each day so that my children would learn the rhythm of looking up. Look up, my child. Your help does not come from the horizon or the mail or the wire transfer. Your help comes from the maker of the stars, who knows the number of hairs on your head and the number of cents in your pocket. Neither is hidden from me. Neither is beyond my care. We are walking through this together, hand in hand, and I will not let go until we have reached the place where the shadows flee and the abundance is not just in your hands, but has become the very fabric of your soul. We are deepening the roots today. The taller the tree is meant to grow, the deeper the roots must plunge into the dark, cold earth. Do not fear the dark. It is merely the place where your strength is being anchored. I am here. I have always been here. I will always be here. Think of the silence of the garden before the first sprout breaks the surface. It looks like nothing is happening. It looks like death. But beneath the surface, there is a frantic, beautiful energy, a cellular transformation that is preparing to burst forth. Your life is that garden. The external world sees the fallow ground, the lack of a harvest, the empty branches. But I see the dormant power of your faith, gathering strength for a season of fruitfulness that will nourish many. You are being prepared to be a storehouse for others. You will tell the story of this time, and your words will be bread for the hungry. You will say, I was at the edge of the cliff and I found that I could fly, or better yet, I found that the air itself held me up. Do not be afraid of the low moments. The valley is where the water flows. The mountaintop is often dry. It is in the low places that you are being watered, saturated with a grace that those on the heights can never know. Feel the weight of my presence now, more real than the weight of your bills. Let it press down on the restlessness of your heart until you are still. In that stillness, I am working. I am moving hearts you haven't met, opening doors you haven't seen, and aligning the stars of your provision in ways your logic cannot track. You are my beloved, and no ledger can ever change that. The debt is a moment. My love is an eternity. Let the eternity swallow the moment. Observe your hands, those instruments of creation I fashioned with such intent. They tremble as they touch the paper, those thin white envelopes that seem to hold the power of life and death over your peace. But what is paper to the one who breathes life into the dust? You sit at the kitchen table, the silence of the house heavy around you, the steam from a cup of tea rising and vanishing like the very worries that consume your nights. I am in that steam, and I am in the silence. I see you staring at the blue-hued glow of the screen, watching the digits that refuse to balance, feeling the cold weight of a deficit that seeks to define your identity. But your identity was forged in the fire of my heart long before a ledger was ever written, and it remains untouched by the ebb and flow of silver and gold. As you feel the tightness in your chest, that familiar, suffocating knot of not enough, breathe into it. Let my breath expand the space where the fear has made its home. I am stretching your capacity to receive, not just provision, but a version of yourself that is unshakable. The world measures you by what you owe. I measure you by what I have given, and I have given you everything. The mailbox has become a place of dread for you, a small metal mouth that spits out demands. Yet, I am the one who feeds the birds of the air who neither sow nor reap, and I tell you now, you are of more value than 1,000 seasons of harvest. I am moving in the places you cannot see. I am speaking to the hearts of those who hold the papers, softening the edges of their requirements. I am the God of the midnight hour, the God of the 11th hour miracle, but more importantly, I am the God of the long, quiet wait. It is in this wait that your soul is being refined. The low place you inhabit is not a pit of despair, but a hidden garden where the rarest flowers of trust are beginning to bloom. Think of the fragrance of a soul that has nothing left but me. That fragrance rises to the heavens as a sweetness that the comfortable can never produce. Your sleep has been thin, like a worn blanket that no longer keeps out the chill. Tonight, I invite you to wrap yourself in the certainty of my sovereignty. The interest rates of this world cannot touch the compounding grace I am pouring into your spirit. You have looked at the mountain of your debt and wondered how it could ever be moved. I am not just moving the mountain. I am teaching you how to walk through it, finding hidden veins of gold in the dark, treasures of wisdom, strength, and compassion that will be your true wealth for the decades to come. When you walk into a room, others will sense a peace they cannot explain. They will see a person who should be broken but is instead radiant. You will become a living paradox, a testament to the fact that a human heart can be full even when the bank account is empty. Remember the widow's oil that did not run dry. It did not flow until she was at her absolute end. Your end is my beginning. The scarcity you feel is a veil, a thin illusion designed to make you forget the boundlessness of my storehouse. I am not limited by the laws of your economy. I am the creator of the atoms that make up the paper and the electricity that powers the screens. Nothing is outside my reach. Feel the tension leaving your shoulders now. Let the muscles of your neck soften as if my own hand were resting there, massaging away the stress of the day's phone calls and the month's calculations. You are being held, not just held up but held close. This trial is not a punishment. It is an invitation to intimacy. Those who have never lacked have never known the fierce, protective tenderness of the provider. You are learning my names in the dark. You are learning Gyre in the valley. You are learning that my presence is a currency that never devalues. When the morning comes and the sun hits the floorboards, do not reach for your phone to check the numbers first. Reach for me. Listen for the whisper that says, I have already gone ahead of you. I am in the conversations you haven't had yet. I am in the emails that haven't been sent. I am the peace that passes all understanding, and that peace is currently guarding your heart and your mind like a fortress. The walls of this debt may seem high, but I have made you a dweller in the high places of the Spirit. From there, the mountain looks like a grain of sand. Do not be ashamed of your struggle. Shame is a thief that comes to steal the growth this season offers. Wear your journey with the dignity of a child of the King who is temporarily traveling through a foreign land. Your inheritance is not in a vault. It is in me, and I am inexhaustible. Let the world call you poor if it wishes. I call you enriched beyond measure. Every tear you have shed over a bill is a seed, and I am the sun that will bring forth a harvest of joy from that salty soil. You are not losing time. You are gaining a soul. You are not falling behind. You are being positioned for a leap that requires a deep, pressurized beginning. Stay here with me in the stillness. Let the numbers fade. Let the names of the creditors vanish. There is only you and I am saying, all is well. Even now, in the midst of the not yet, all is well. Feel the rhythm of my heart beating in sync with yours, steadying the frantic pulse of your anxiety. I am the anchor that holds when the floor gives way. I am the light that remains when the power is cut. I am your sufficiency, and I am more than enough for this moment and every moment that follows. Observe the way your breath enters your lungs, a gift given freely, over and over, without a single invoice attached. You do not have to earn the right to the air, and yet it sustains you with a faithfulness the world cannot replicate. I see you standing in the kitchen, the light of the refrigerator casting a pale glow on the floor, wondering how the shelves became so sparse and the stack of envelopes on the table so thick. You look at those letters, those white and manila rectangles with their bold red warnings and their cold, typed demands, and you feel a weight in your chest that seems heavier than the earth itself. But I want you to look closer. To the world, those papers represent a deficit, a failure, a binding contract of lack. To me, they are the crumbling walls of a prison you were never meant to inhabit. They are the artifacts of a system built on shifting sand, while you are rooted in the bedrock of my eternal provision. When the mail carrier's footsteps echo on your porch, do not let your heart race as if a predator is approaching. Those letters have no power to define your identity or determine your destiny. They are merely ink on paper, while you are a living spirit, breathed into existence by the source of all that is. Think of the lilies I have fashioned. They do not toil, nor do they fret over the exchange of currency, yet they are clothed in a splendor that puts empires to shame. Are you not of infinitely more value than the flowers of the field? I have watched you count the coins in the jar on the counter, your fingers trembling as you calculate the distance between what you have and what you owe. In those moments, you are practicing the mathematics of the finite. I am inviting you into the geometry of the infinite. There is a ledger kept in the heavens that the world cannot see, and on it your name is written in the ink of grace. Every debt you think you carry has been eclipsed by the wealth of my love for you. I see the nights you lie awake, the ceiling fan spinning like the cycles of your worried thoughts, retracing the steps that led you to this canyon of debt. You blame yourself for the detours, for the risks that didn't pay off, for the emergencies that drained your reserves. But I tell you, I am the master of the detour. I am the architect of the valley. There is no hole so deep that my hand cannot reach the bottom, and there is no mistake so costly that my grace cannot cover the expense. You are being schooled in a wisdom that cannot be bought in any marketplace. You are learning the secret of the desert, that when everything else is stripped away, the manna still falls. Feel the tension leaving your jaw. Let your shoulders drop from where they have been hunched in a defensive posture against the coming storm. The storm may rage. The winds may howl against the shutters of your life, but you are tucked away in the secret place of the Most High. This season of less than is the soil in which the more than is being cultivated. I am stripping away the false security of numbers on a screen so that you can discover the unshakable security of my presence. Do you remember the dreams you held as a child before you knew the meaning of interest rates or credit scores? Those dreams were not fueled by capital. They were fueled by the light I placed within you. That light has not dimmed. It is merely obscured by the shadows of your anxiety. I am here to brush those shadows away. Look at your hands. They are not empty. They are open. There is a profound difference. An empty hand is a sign of loss, but an open hand is a vessel for receiving. If your hands were full of the world's gold, you would have no room to catch the blessings I am pouring out from the windows of heaven. I am teaching you to live by the rhythm of the day, to trust that the bread for tomorrow will arrive when tomorrow dawns. This is not a punishment. It is a refinement. You are being polished like a diamond under the immense pressure of these days. The world sees your struggle and calls it a tragedy. I see your endurance and call it a masterpiece. Stay in this stillness with me. Let the digital numbers of your bank balance fade until they are as insignificant as dust motes in a sunbeam. They do not have the final word. I have the final word, and my word over you is sustained. My word over you is provided. My word over you is free. Even if the lights were to flicker and the water were to stop, I am the living water, and I am the light that no darkness can overcome. You are learning to walk on water in the middle of a financial gale. Keep your eyes on me, not on the waves of debt that rise to threaten your peace. If you look at the waves, you will sink into the cold depths of despair. But if you look at me, you will find yourself treading upon the very things that sought to drown you. We are walking through this together, hand in hand. You are not a debtor hiding in the shadows. You are a child of the King walking through a temporary mist. The mist will clear, the sun will rise, and you will find that you have lacked nothing that truly mattered. Breathe deep, my beloved. The debt is a shadow, but my love is the substance. The debt is a moment, but my peace is forever. Let the quietness of this room become a sanctuary where the noise of the world's demands cannot penetrate. I am surrounding you with a hedge of protection that no creditor can breach. I am placing a peace in your heart that surpasses all human understanding, a peace that stands guard over your mind and your spirit. You are safe. You are held. You are cherished beyond all calculation.